Hey guys, welcome to Talk to Yue. In this video, I want to show you how to approach the reading section of the HSK 4 exam. This section is particularly challenging because it requires you to know a lot of characters and it requires you to be quite fast at reading them as well. So as you can see, you will have a paragraph, such as here, and then a question to answer. And you will have to pick the correct answer. This exercise is already more challenging compared to HSK 3 because it has 4 options instead of 3. So they really want you to understand the content well. So let's get started with the first paragraph, number 66. My recommendation is to always start from reading the question first, that would be the sentence with the star, so that you already know more or less what you will have to understand from the paragraph. So in this case, the question asks, 这段话提醒我们要. So this paragraph, 提醒, it warns us that you have to. Option A says, 有耐心, be patient or have patience. B, 接受批评, 接受 accept 批评 critiques, criticism. C, 学会原谅, 学会 to learn, 原谅 forgiveness. So learn how to forgive. D, 看到别人的优点, to see other people's 优点, strong points, strengths, advantages. So let's go and read the paragraph. 每个人都有缺点，再优秀的人也一样。我们总是很容易看到一个人的缺点，但是别忘了，他身上的优点更值得我们去发现、去学习。So let's translate. 每个人 every person 都有缺点。缺点 means weaknesses, weak points. So every person has weaknesses. 优秀 means excellent. So excellent people are the same. So also excellent people have weaknesses. 我们总是 we always 很容易看到 very easily see 一个人的缺点 a person's weaknesses. 但是别忘了 but don't forget 他身上的优点 优点 is the opposite of 缺点 so 缺点 is weakness 优点 is strengths so their strength 更值得值得 means to be worth, to be valued. So their strengths are also worth 我们去发现 us going to discover them. So their strengths should also be discovered by us. 去学习 to go learn about them. So let's go back to our question. The question asked 提醒我们要 So it warns us to A, 有耐心 Patience is not mentioned. So it's not option A. B, it talks about 批评 So how to accept critiques. That's also not what is mentioned here. C talks about 原谅 forgiveness. That's also not mentioned. And so it is option D, that indeed talks about 看到别人的优点 So seeing other people's strengths. So it is option D. So let's do the same for paragraph 67. Let's start from the question. 夏季 in summer. 森林可以 森林 is a forest. So a forest or forests can A. 降低气温降低 to lower 气温 Wen is the first character of 温度 which means temperature. So the temperature of the air. So the forest can reduce the temperature. Or B. 改变风向 to change the direction of the wind. Then C. 增加增加 means to increase. 雨量 the quantity of rain, so increase rainfall. And D. 使皮肤温润使 is like saying 让 so it allows something, in this case 皮肤 the skin, to be 温润 moist. So it makes skin more moist. Okay, so we know we're talking about forests and their effect. So let's go read the paragraph. 森林有改变 小范围气候的作用。在高温的夏季，森林内的温度会比周围低3到5度。2. 在寒冷多风的冬季，森林能起到降低风速、提高气温的作用。So let's translate. 森林, so the forest or forests, 有改变, they can change. 小范围, 范围 is the scope, so a small scope. 气候的作用. So 作用 can be translated as an action or a use. So forests have the use to change 小范围, so the 气候, the climate in 小范围, in a small scope. So they can slightly change the climate. 在高温的夏季, so 夏季, in summers that are 高温, again 高温度, that have a high temperature. 森林内的温度, so the temperature inside of forests, 会比周围, 周围 is the surroundings, so the area around the forest, it is lower by 3到5度. So it is lower by 3 until 5 degrees. So to paraphrase, during hot summers, the forests, they are 3 to 5 degrees cooler than the surrounding areas. So 而且, moreover, 在寒冷多风的冬季, so it is talking about the opposite situation, when you have a winter, 冬季, that is very cold, 寒冷 and windy, 多风. 森林能起到降低风速. The forest can 降低 lower 风速度. 速度 is the speed, so the speed of the wind. The forest can slow down the wind. 提高 to increase, to bring up. 气温的作用. So it has this action of bringing up the temperature of the air. So if we go back to the question, it was asking about 夏季, so what happens during the summers. So 森林可以. So option A says 降低气温, so lowering the temperature of the air. So the verb 降低 is used when talking about the winter and not about the summer. But in this portion of the paragraph, what we are talking about is lowering the speed of the wind. So let's go and look about the section regarding summer, which is the sentence before. 在高温的夏季, so that is the part we should be looking at. And we can see that it says the temperature in the forest is 3 to 5 degrees lower. We have the word D than the surrounding areas. So option A is correct. So let's just do a quick check about the other options to see if we didn't leave anything out. Option B talked about 风向, so the direction of the wind, which is not mentioned. We do mention 风速, but that's not what we're talking about here. Option C talked about increasing rainfall. The rain is not mentioned anywhere. And same for option D, the skin is not mentioned anywhere. So it is option A. So let's go further with 68. 选择职业是 when you are choosing 职业, a profession, a job. 应该, you have to. A, 多调查, investigate, research a lot. Or B, 打好基础, to give a good 基础, foundation. C, 及时总结, to summarize in a timely manner. Or D, 先认清自己. 认清, 认 is from 认识, 清 is from 清楚. So to know yourself clearly. So first you need to know yourself or recognize yourself. So we already know this paragraph is about how to choose the best profession for yourself, probably. So let's go and read the paragraph. 选择职业是我们首先应该对自己有清楚的认识，不仅要知道自己想做什么，还要根据自己的性格、爱好去判断什么样的工作适合自己，这样才能找到满意的工作。 Okay, so let's translate. The first sentence is the same sentence as the question. So 选择职业时, so when you are choosing a profession, we need to 首先 to firstly 对自己有兴趣的人士. So to know yourself clearly. 不仅 not only you need to 知道自己想做什么, you need to know what you want to do. 还要 you also have to 根据自己的性格, so 根据 according to your 性格, your personality and 爱好, your hobbies, you need to 判断 to judge 什么样的工作 which kind of job 适合 suits yourself. 这样才能 only in this way you can 找到 you can find 满意的工作, a job that is satisfying. So let's go back to our question. The question was indeed when you're looking for a job you have to A 多调查 to investigate a lot. That's not really mentioned here. We also don't talk about 基础 foundations. So we don't talk about being prepared for this job or doing any other kind of preparation. So that's not the most fitting answer. We also don't talk about 总结, summarizing anything. So option D indeed says 先认清自己. So firstly, you need to know yourself, to have a clear idea of yourself. And that is what this paragraph is about. So it is option D. Okay, let's go to question 69. 想要健康减肥应该健康 healthy 减肥 losing weight. So if you want to lose weight in a healthy way, you have to A 多运动 to exercise a lot. B 少吃米饭 eat little food. C 经常站直经常 often 站直 to be standing. And D 多玩电子游戏 to play 电子游戏 video games a lot. So by logic alone, I think we can exclude option D because it is not related to losing weight. But let's read the paragraph to confirm. 有些人通过节食的方法来减肥，虽然有效，但是时间长了身体会受不了。真正健康的减肥方法应该是多锻炼，这样做该对身体好，还能让自己看起来更有精神。So some people, 节食 means to diet, to be on a diet. So some people, they 减肥, they lose weight by going on a diet. 虽然有效, so despite having 效 an effect, despite seeing effects, 但是时间长了, so however, as time progresses, 身体会受不了, the body cannot stand it. 真正健康的减肥方法 a truly healthy way to lose weight 应该是 has to be 多锻炼 so exercising a lot 这样做该对身体好 this method is good for your body 还能让自己 it can also allow you 看起来更有精神 to have more 精神 energy. So let's go back to the question. Option A was 多运动 which is a synonym for 多锻炼 so it is probably option A. Option B 少吃米饭 is mentioned when we say in the beginning 节食 but this is talking about an ineffective way of losing weight while here in the question we want a 健康减肥 Then for option C 站直 is not mentioned and same for the video games in option D. So the answer is indeed A. So now let's go look at paragraph 70, which is the last one that I will cover in this video. I will make a part 2 and maybe part 3 for the other questions since it is a lot to take in. So paragraph 70 asks 张先生, so Mr. Zhang, 被骗了. 骗 means to lie. 被 creates the passive form of the verb, so he was lied to or he was scammed, it can also mean. B, 住在附近, he lives nearby. C, 才交房子, he's looking for an apartment. D, he's watching advertisements. So let's read the paragraph. 张先生，这离你们公司也就2-3站的距离，周围环境不错，对面有超市和银行，房租也不贵，您要不要再考虑一下？ So, 张先生, so Mr. Zhang, 这离你们公司, so your company, 离 expresses compared to, but we use it for distances. So your company, compared to here, it is 2-3站, so it is 2 or 3 stops, 距离 distance. So your company is only at a distance of 2 to 3 stops. 周围环境, 周围 around, 环境 the environment. So the environment around 不错 is not bad. 对面 in front, 有超市和银行, there is a supermarket and a bank. 房租 the rent is also 不贵, is also not expensive. 您要不要 do you not want to 考虑 to consider a bit more. So this is probably a situation where the person talking is somebody trying to rent out an apartment to Mr. Zhang. So about Mr. Zhang, option A, 被骗了 if he is being lied to. We don't have information to answer this, so it is not option A. B, 住在附近, he lives nearby. We don't know where he lives, we only know that his company is nearby, so he 工作在附近, but that's not the question. Option C, 才找房子, he's looking for an apartment. That's probably what we are talking about because this person is talking about rent and trying to convince Mr. Zhang to rent there. Option D, 才看广告, he's watching an ad. While it sounds like trying to sell or to offer something to him, it is not an ad, it is rather a housing agency or something like that. So the most fitting option is option C. He is looking for an apartment. So as you can see, these questions are getting progressively harder to answer because they're a bit more abstract and the questions and the answers are not always explicitly mentioned in the paragraph. So this is the last question I wanted to cover for today. I will make a part 2 and 3 to cover this section of the HSK 4 exam because it is quite long. And in the meantime, I hope this was helpful to you and I wish you a lot of luck in your Chinese learning journey. 再见!